Entering the Pat Mayo Experience.
Pat Mayo Experience. Pat Mayo Experience. Pat Mayo Experience. Experience.
Welcome to the Pat Mayo Experience, presented by DraftKings Super Wild Card Weekend. Best bets, gold, silver, bronze, hoping to repeat the success of last week after we were a disaster 2 weeks ago. So, water finds its level, I suppose. Smash a like to the episode, sub to Mayo Media Network, go to the Hammer HQ on YouTube for more sports betting, or just go to thehammer.bet. Because stuff's winding down, but the other sports are picking up, and you know that I don't do all of them. We got golf, we got MMA, we got football. You need everything else and more on those. Thehammer.bet is where you need to be. Additionally, highly recommend that you join the Pat Mayo Experience DraftKings Listeners League. It is now open. It's Sunday only this week. There's 1,500 spots, and it's already filling up quickly, and I only put the link in the newsletter. So you might as well go grab your spot, reserve your 3 spots right now, and we'll be good to go. Fellas, swept the gold picks, swept the bronze picks. Your guys' silver picks were a bit but I went 3-0, Rob.
Well,
Excellent.
I mean, what do we finish? 7-2 last week.
Yes.
That's great.
Yeah,
I mean, that's nice rebound off of the week before. It's huge. I was pretty happy with the way last week went overall. A lot of the teams that, we suspected, like the motivational angles that we talked about our fluff a lot of the times end up working out in our favor. It's good to end the season on that note, and now we're into the playoffs, and pretty excited about a lot of these playoff games this week.
Yeah, Cam, it dug us out. We were above 500 for every week of the season until week 17 when we went 0-8. But now we're above 500 again.
Hey, we can't live in the past, Pat. I told you, all it took is some trolls and turkeys to get us motivated and fired up with the hate. That's what we do. We go back and rebound. But Pizzola, we know this. You gamble every day. You're going to have days where you get smoked. And then like the other day, I was on I got killed every game. Like I had the Sabres against the Kraken, lose, basketball game, lose by the hook. And then last night, ding, 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 ding. You know what I mean? That's the way gambling is, man. You're going to get hot and cold. If you do this stuff every day, Pat, you got to expect it. But let's keep the train rolling. A lot of big spreads this week, fellas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there are a few games that I like, though. And you're absolutely right with the way that it can swing up and down. I hit my Jags to win the division future from before the season on Saturday. The Bears somehow ended up with the first pick, so I ended up cashing that. And I'm sitting there on Sunday afternoon, Cam, going into the evening because it's in Hawaii, holding a very juicy Colin Morikawa 22-1 ticket. And then, then the bad stuff happens.
Bye-bye. See you, Mork. I guess he's not sticking around for the Sony Open. Got to beat it out of Hawaii after that one. That's the thing, Pat. I've learned a lesson a long time ago, and you know too. You bet golf. I'll take John Rahm. I was doing a show on Saturday night. I see John Rahm anywhere within 12 strokes. Click. I should have put more on it, but that's the thing. This guy is an absolute animal. If he sniffs the leaderboard, if he's motivated, the guy can win every week. Let's just call it out for what it is. He's the best.
All right, well, we might have to do some golf best bets as the season goes along. Maybe this is an interesting show to do during majors weeks. I'm trying to figure out a way that we can keep this going, not every week during non-football season, but periodically.
You bring us in for special occasions. I got no problem with that. That's perfect. That's what we do. Yeah, maybe we take a road trip too. I'm due, Pat. You got kids. Pizzola's busy at BetStamp, but I'm really jonesing to go hit the felt for real. I hope COVID doesn't come back or anything like that, because I'm jonesing to go to a casino. I tried to go to Woodbine. Rob, I'll tell you, it's a disaster up there. I went one night and I'm waiting in line to play blackjack. I'm this is not happening. I used to go play horses, walk in, you know what I mean? It was comfortable. I'm are you kidding me? What? You're gonna like the Keg restaurant? You're gonna give me one of those glowing discs that I gotta wait to get? Oh yeah, ring me up when the table's ready. Fucking joke.
Yeah, it's busy there now. I was there a few weeks ago as well. I mean, there's nothing else to do in the winter is the problem. So everyone just goes and they gamble their money away. But I was waiting for some poker for quite a bit there, and we need more establishments closer to us, Cam. Let's put it that way. We need more.
If I was the premier, Rob, that's the first thing. I would handle this whole gambling situation a lot differently, I can tell you.
Hey, they tried that. When I lived in downtown Toronto, they tried to put a downtown Toronto casino, and the counselors were like, can't have gambling.
But it was
gambling in the city.
They wanted to put it at
Ontario Place.
Ontario Place is, and everybody shot it down because it's a lakefront and whatever. And so I know. nowadays I think it might swing a little bit better, but I remember that getting shot down. That would have been nice instead of me having to drive to Niagara.
Pat, literally, for me and Rob lives in the boonies. Like, I got to go to Brantford and they have table limits of like $100. Like, say I'm like rocking and rolling in blackjack. I'm like, because I play increments, right? You start and you go, you press. And then I'm sitting there going, oh, this is fun. Oh yeah, I forgot it's a charity casino. But anyway, like, some of these rules are just so stupid, but you think they'd clue in by now, but no, that's not happening. You're right. They got, you know what, Rob? How about Mississauga? Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's so much damn land. It's kind of in the middle. It's perfect. Anyway, let's not get into this. It's a real problem. Well, more casinos, please.
They opened a casino during the X, like the first or second year that I lived.
Oh there. Yeah, we're pushing some guys.
They still do.
Hey, I got 20. You got 20. I'm like, it's just a push. I go, charity casino. I go, and I will be gone. Fine, sir.
You also
just take the money.
You also can't press on those tables, Cam.
No, you can't.
The minimum and the maximum are, some of the tables are the exact same thing. You have to flat bet no matter what you do.
Yeah.
Like, anything they could do to get the house edge on those CNE casino tables is absurd.
They're run by carnies.
However, the dealers that they hired for this charity casino, as you just kind of pointed out, we played there one day. Like, we were playing there. We had the money down on the table, and she deals out the first round of cards. We have one card up, and the way that they would do it there is they only deal themselves one card, deal everything out, and then pull after, which I really don't like. But here we are. This is what the table rules were. So she just dealt it out, and then she dealt us all out her second card. Didn't ask if anyone wanted to hit or if they wanted to stand. She just started counting her cards and busted and paid everyone out. It was great.
This sounds like one of my dreams, Pat. It's I usually get the T-Bot 5000 where the guy laughs after I get a 6-card 22. You know what I mean? But anyway, it would be great if we had a local casino, because I don't like to make that trip to Brantford. It's good for cheap smokes for your buddies, but that's about it.
Yeah, we have a guy at the Halifax casino when I was growing up, or like once I turned, I wasn't of age, but I was able to get in. So from like 17 to 23, his name was The Dragon, and he was from like Romania, and that guy fucking took everyone's money.
Yeah. No, at certain dealers, it's actually funny. Like, I almost want like the grandma dealers. That's the guy. I don't want a guy who looks too good. I don't want a woman that's hot. I don't want any of that. I've always had luck with like the old lady that helps you. Like, she wants to have a cup of tea with you. She likes you. You're playing the right way. Right, Rob? And I've always found playing too. When I go to Vegas, I love playing with seniors because they know what the hell they're doing. They're smart. They used to play card games when they're young. Not some idiot coming there doing, it's my, hey, I'm going to hit you. Hey, I know you can do whatever you want, bud, but it's a team game. That's the whole thing that people don't understand with blackjack. If you start going nuts, you're hurting everybody and yourself in the long run. If you actually play the same way, we might have a chance to get on a run and beat these turkeys. Well, people don't get it. They worry about their own money, but you should be worrying about the team's money.
See, I don't worry about the team. I don't worry about the team's money if there's an automatic shuffler, because then it makes absolutely no difference.
Oh, automatic shuffler is a different story. Different,
yeah,
we're not going to get into that.
Completely different.
I'm talking about real dealing, though.
I just don't understand the people that sit down and like they have no idea what they're doing, and then they ask, what should I do here? And you're like, well, you got to double that, or you split that, or whatever.
Why would you play a game, Rob, that you don't know the rules of?
And then they just ignore the advice. Like, but why would you ask? What am I supposed to do here? And then like, no, you know what? I'm just going to hit anyways. Like that's the one that drives me crazy. Like, I think everyone could play their own money the same way. And there's going to be times where you got some, as Cam would say, a turkey, playing the anchor at the table, and he's going to screw it up for everybody.
We call that a real Pat Mayo, who will play with the team until someone does something that I don't like or shoots me a look, and then I'm fucking splitting tens just to piss that person off.
Yeah, no, I'm very polite about it, Patrick. Like, I don't go up and say, you're an idiot or whatever. I'm just saying I would have done, like, I wouldn't have hit, a 17 against a 6. Like, you know what I mean? I'm like, don't do that.
Yes.
You might want to stay.
Yep.
Anyway.
You can always ask for the card. They'll give you the card of the decision-making tree.
Yeah, that's true. I'm a little, I don't know how Pizzola feels about it. I agree with a lot of things on the card. I'm a little more aggressive. It depends what you're doing. Like, if you're on a good roll, like, the card is a guide. It's kind of like a guide, but I split and double. Like, when they have bus cards, sometimes I go for it. But one thing I will tell people, guys, and I know I joke around on the show and hey, Cam, but just do the same thing. Be consistent. If you're doing something all the time, you'll have no regrets. I don't like when people go, well, today I'm going to hit 16 against a face. Today I'm going to stay on it. You'll regret it, because if you at least do the same thing all the time, you'll go, okay, just the cards weren't good for me today. That's the thing. Just be consistent. That's all.
Well, I like to act like the people on the internet now when it comes to sportsbook, that if I bet an over and my guy gets hurt, I complain. That's what I do at the casino now. If I bust, completely unfair, I would like my money back.
You send an email to head office, tag them on Twitter and everything, and just get everybody else in the community involved. The blackjack's rules should change. We should be, it should be blackjack push. You bust by one, you get your money back. Everything it's actually getting absurd. More and more of this stuff happens nowadays with the sports books. And I just I laugh. Like the bookies I dealt with when I grew up, if I imagine I went to them and complained about a bad beat and how they would laugh me out of the room. I used to deal in the offshore space where literally the person who ran the sports book would come up in the chat, like not a customer service agent. It was the person who ran the sports book. And they'd be like, Pizzola, we got two options here. We can either void your bet and you're no longer welcome to, and you can continue betting at this sports book, or, we can void this bet and you're no longer welcome to bet at this sports book. Like the void of bet was 100% guaranteed. They didn't even give me any options. Like that was the customer service I dealt with growing up. Like, we're voiding this bet. Yeah. Either you can still bet here or take a hike, go bet somewhere else.
You'd meet your guy in person. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, is he packing? I don't know what he's doing, but I can tell you one thing. There were envelopes exchanged usually at fast food restaurants, as Rob and I talked about. And you get the king guy from the book and say, listen, this isn't happening. It's a losing. Yeah. Like, I don't understand these guys have no idea. Like the things we used to do, like I used to call in bets. Like it was an automated phone line, employee 75. This is 150 on the Sabres money line plus one. Like we used to, listen back message document. Oh, was it Washington or Washington State? You know what I mean? Like once in a while, like it's just like, anyway, we're not going to get into it, Pat. Like things are pretty good for the sports gambler now compared to what we used to deal with.
Yeah, and listen, I don't want to bemoan it because, listen, I'm pro people getting money. And if you can win at the sportsbook or get your money back, that's awesome. It's just like, oh, boy. So some of it, it's not that it crosses the line. It's just like, no shame.
It's ridiculous.
No shame. Just
no, the worst was they gave back a refund for people who bet Mitch Trubisky MVP. Well, you're a fucking idiot to bet.
Well, no. See, that's like a good promo bet.
Yeah, hell yeah. Okay. But meanwhile, I have a guy that breaks his leg on a 24.5 over rushing yards. He's at 23. Oh, okay. In the first quarter after 2 carries. Okay. That's anyway. Yeah, you're right, Pat. I don't know. I just don't understand the way these guys decide. Oh, okay. You know what? These idiots bet on Mitch Trubisky MVP. Let's give them their money back.
Yeah. If we're gonna give every idiot money back for betting on MVPs, I would like my Russell Wilson MVP futures back, please, because that was worse than Mitch Trubisky, as it turned out.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty bad. Hey, how about Seattle?
Not a good bet.
We make the playoffs. We get Denver's 5th pick. Quite a good year.
I woke up this morning, Pizzola, to a DM and a text from Feinberg about what's going on with the Chargers line.
Oh, God.
Well, as we record here, Jeff is still messaging me, asking me, hey, Rob, the smart guys, the syndicates, where are they going on this Chargers game? Does it seem like it's a split? And he's done this every single day. This is the problem with the Chargers in the playoffs, right? Like Jeff's bad enough with Chargers regular season and how he's going to live and sweat every single news report. And now playoffs is a whole different level. And on top of it, I watched the Tuesday show. Jeff's super lock was the Chargers. He is now like all in, invested on this team to make a deep run in the playoffs. And I'm not going to be able to avoid this. Like DraftKings takes 2 cents on the Chargers. And it's like, what's going on with this Chargers line? Are there injury news? Who's betting this? Like as if I know every single person in the world that's betting on these games. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to deal with this. I'm not like, he's still messaging me. Like this is real.
It's funny how he doesn't message me because I'm a lemon or a mush and that's good. But I love Jeff. Honestly, he's like a family member, but I'm not sure. Like, I think if like Derwin James was drowning in his kids, I don't know who he'd pick. Like this guy's love for the Chargers as an adult is pretty wild. Pat, when I was a kid and the Raiders used to beat up the Seahawks and I watched Lyle Alzado and Howie Long basically kill Jim Zorn and Dave Craig, break their legs, and Seattle would lose all the time to these guys. I'd cry, freak out. Like I was a kid. I love the Seahawks more than life itself. But as I'm getting older, I give a rat's ass. Like I'd love them to beat the Niners, but it's not going to change my life. Like gambling, I don't know if it's just gambling, getting older or whatever. Like I love football, but like literally I couldn't care. Like if the 49ers blow out the Seahawks, I'll be upset for a bit, but it's not going to change my life in any way.
Let's try to make some life-changing money with the gold picks this week.
Okay, that's bold. Yeah. Okay.
We can put together a six game parlay. Maybe put some totals in there. And Cam, we'll walk out a winner here. I have a 5-way top 20 bet in golf this week. $10 pays I think like 100,000.
I love those.
Or something like that. They never win, by the way. They're just sort of like a fun scratch ticket that you can play. So I'm going to start off with my gold pick. I've been kind of wavering on this because I really do like the Chargers, weirdly enough. But they're now up to 2.5 at DraftKingsSportsbook.com. I assume, Rob, because all the people are just hammering the Chargers. But the more I look at it, I really want to. I'm going to take the Bills minus 13. I bet them at 9.5 when it got down to 9.5, so I'm not actually going to bet the minus 13. But if I hadn't had a cent on the game, I'm still going to take this. The way I tried to play it out, Rob, and I know you're probably not going to like this line, but if you get a Tyreek Hill super play and he scores a 90-yard touchdown, you get a defensive touchdown and a special teams touchdown, and you get the Dolphins to 21 points, I don't think that's enough to cover this spread.
I do like this play. Honestly, I don't think that if Skylar Thompson plays this game, I don't know how this number should be short of 14.
He's starting.
Yeah, he's
right. That's what I'm saying. Like I watched the Jets and Dolphins last week, and like the lasting memory of that game is the Jets getting pressure on Thompson and him just chucking up like these random ducks, and like he was flipping ball, like he thought he's Patrick Mahomes in the pocket, basically, with the way that he was treating that game. I don't know, I think this is just a really lopsided mismatch in the favor of the Bills at the quarterback position. And obviously people don't want to see blowouts in playoff games, and they think it's a playoff game. I'm going to take the points. It's going to be tighter. If we actually look back historically, there's not too many instances where we see double-digit favorites in this round of the playoffs, but they've performed very well. It's a small sample size. I'm not saying to go use that to place your bet, but if you're thinking that, it's the first round of the playoffs, all these teams are close, I'm going to take the underdogs. Historically, that hasn't been the case. So I'm with you here, Pat. I mean, I was going to put this in my minerals as well. I think this is a short price. I just think this is a pretty big. Imagine like your first career playoff start being in Buffalo on the road where DeMar Hamlin is going to be at the game. Like it's the worst possible situation for a young quarterback. So I like the Bills here. I still think this number is short.
I like the Bills too.
Yeah, I mean, when I had my Tua line, my Teddy line, and my Skylar Thompson line when I tried to do out this game, and I had the Skylar Thompson line at 16.5 of what I would bet it up to if he was going to end up starting. And Rob's kind of hit on something, and I had this in the newsletter this week. You can sub to free down in the description, or if you're watching this on Game Plus, hello, TV friends. Just go to Substack.com, go to Mayo Media, and you can find it all up in there too, and you can go sub to it. But 10 of the past 11 double-digit favorites, Cam, have covered in the playoffs.
That's what happens. Usually it's the first week, like the favorites crush, and then all of a sudden, like then you might get some dogs. But Rob's right. Like a lot of these times, there are mismatches. I remember what the Patriots used to do to teams in the playoffs, just absolutely annihilate them. There's no way I'm getting Miami money. I got in early too. Like, don't want to sound like that guy. It doesn't help the viewership, but yeah, the Bills. You know what it is, guys? It's almost like, I don't know if we're getting older and smarter, but I just use common sense. I'm like, Tua's not playing in this game. The NFL doesn't want to look bad with the concussions. It's either Bridgewater or Skyler. And I thought about the Ravens situation, and I'm like, Lamar Jackson doesn't even talk to this team anymore. I don't even think he's going to be a Raven. They can franchise tag him, and I know he's not playing. Like, you almost have to like see through the trees and go, okay, well, I don't think these guys are going to play in this game. Get in on them early, and that's what Rob and a lot of these other guys do. I just do it in my own way. I just kind of think about what reports are real, what are fake, and like Lamar Jackson is pissed. And then they signed Roquan Smith to a huge contract when he wants guaranteed money. You think he's happy? He's pissed.
Yep.
Rob, and maybe you can, I mean, you know everyone who gambles, so this should be very easy for you to answer. Why was it moving towards Miami at like one point of the week? It went from 10.5 to 9.5, and then was there did people think Tua was going to play?
Yeah, and in fact, I got a message from someone who's typically pretty reliable that said pretty good chance that Tua practices tomorrow. So I think a lot of people thought that he did clear the protocol, when in fact that he did not. And honestly, the person who sent that to me, I mean, he's a very reliable source. So I think there was a lot of information that was going around that was Tua's going to play in the game. And you didn't see like a ton of people get in on it. Some people were trying to wait a little bit more just to get some information the next day. But that was why the line moved towards Miami early in the week.
All right. So, Rob, do you have a gold selection? I hope
Yes,
you do,
Rob.
because that's the premise of the show.
I do. I'm going to take the 3 points with the New York Giants
All
at
right.
the Minnesota Vikings.
So you're off the Vikings again.
I mean, I've been off the Vikings for, I think, maybe like 13 of 14 weeks.
Hey, you made them your gold pick in our famous 0-8 week.
I did. I'll never live that down. We will never speak of that week again or that bet again. I like the Giants here. So I think a lot of people are fixated on the fact that these teams played a few weeks ago, and the Vikings closed as a 4.5-point favorite in that game. And they're like, oh, there's got to be line value on Minnesota now because it's only 3. Well, okay, there's a lot of context that needs to be applied. You can't just take spreads from 3 weeks ago and say that's what the spread for this game should be as well. Minnesota loses their starting right tackle, one of the top right tackles in the entire league, arguably a top 10 tackle in the entire league. Garrett Bradbury practiced yesterday, limited capacity. He's dealing with a back injury. I don't think that's going to work out for them if he comes back at center, but they're hurting on the offensive line. If you go back to the Vikings-Giants game from a few weeks ago, the Giants played really well in that game. They had 6.9 yards per play. The Vikings had 5 yards per play. What did the Giants in was that they had 2 turnovers in the game. And ultimately, the likelihood that the Giants play a clean game or like don't lose the turnover margin by 2 is much higher because they've been that team this year. So there's not much separating these two teams. Like, forget about the record again. Like, forget the Vikings finished with a negative point differential. They went 13 and whatever, and they finished with a negative point differential. They're not a good team, and there's not much separating them and the Giants. My concern, Daniel Jones' first career road start. But aside from that,
You'll be fine.
I think so too. I think Brian Daboll offsets a lot of that. He's a very good coach. I love the coaching staff for the Giants overall. They get a Dory Jackson back at cornerback in all likelihood, which is a big, big uplift for that cornerback crew. I'm not saying they're going to shut down Justin Jefferson, but having a top corner there helps in the ability to do that. And on top of that, the Giants generate pressure. Top 5 pressure rate team in the entire league. Kirk Cousins' numbers against pressure, much worse than a clean pocket. So I don't see enough separating these two teams to warrant this number, and I will take the Giants.
I know you don't do a lot of teasers, but this feels like if one game is going to blow up everyone's teasers this week, it feels like this game, and Minnesota wins by 10 or something.
Oh, I was thinking, yeah, I guess that could happen. I would never tease this game anyways, because of like the number sitting on 3. The only way to tease it is up, and you let me be. I'm stuttering and rambling here. When you tease games, generally speaking, you're making a bad bet in the NFL unless you're teasing through 2 key numbers.
Yeah, well, you have Jags and Bucks. If you tease them up by 6 this week, you would be achieving that at 2.5.
Exactly. Or if you tease the Bengals down, for example, because you get them down from 8.5 through 7 through 3, and you get them below that number. That's your mathematical teaser. And typically, the lower the total in the game, the better the teaser as well, because there's less variance.
We had a big fight in our show about teasing through numbers or whatever. I'm kind of like, you know what I mean? Like, we had got a lot of professional gamblers on. I really don't give a rat's ass like what you do. It's your money. You could play it however you want. I know there's rules or whatever, but my thing is, do whatever you want. I really don't care.
Well, I'm not arguing.
No, you're right, Rob. I understand, but I understand the mathematical concepts. Yes. I'm just saying, to Pat's point, even if I do a 7-point teaser and pay the juice, you know, the Giants at +10, I think that's pretty safe. And and I think the Bengals, you know, you bring them down 1.5, 2.5. You want to, I guess I'd rather do a 7-point teaser to get the 10 instead of 9. You know what I mean? For the Giants, because the probability of 10 probably happens a lot more than 9. And the Bengals, all they would have to do, what is it, 1.5 from where it is now?
Yep.
That's fine with me. Anyway, people, I know you shouldn't do this stuff, but, you know, like sometimes I buy a half point to make it this and that, whatever. People do what you want to do. I know there's rules to gambling, but I don't know, do whatever works for you. That's kind of my advice to people. But you're right, Rob, about like overtime paying juice and stuff like that. No, I totally get it. But I'm one of those guys that I'm just, you know, I don't really care. I used to think about it. You want to do money line parlays, be my guest. Like do whatever works for you. That's all.
Everyone's clicking the submit bet button themselves. Like you're entitled to bet your money however you want to bet your money. The only reason I say this stuff is advice. Like it's based and rooted purely in math.
You're
right. I've worked on the other side of the counter. I've consulted for sportsbooks before. I know how they make money. I know what their theoretical hold is on teasers. If you just play teasers forever, you're going to end up in a dumpster, is basically what it comes down to. If you play mathematical teasers, you have actually a chance to profit. So that's the only reason I bring it up. But yeah, listen, to each their own. You bet however you want to bet. It's your money. I'm just giving you some advice, but you do whatever you want to do with it.
You got it.
You got a gold pick, Cam?
Not really, Pat. They're all it's kind of like the same thing. I look at the same picks. I'm like, there's things that I like. I don't know gold, but okay, you know what? I'm actually going to do this. I'm such a bad guy. Okay. I like the 49ers to murder the Seahawks.
I do not. I really like Seattle here against the number.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
This game just reeks of backdoor cover at this number.
Really?
Yeah.
I like the Seahawks earlier in the week, and now I'm thinking, how are they going to score against these guys, Pat? Like, I'm just I'm really...
The Raiders just posted points up on them with Jared Stidham.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I love Rob's pick, and I'm not going to use the same mineral. It's in my top 3. I like the Niners. Yeah, you're right. The back door is open, but I think San Francisco wins this game like 27-10. I think they probably beat up Seattle pretty good. I'm happy that Seattle's going to the playoffs. I know. I see what kind of person I'm like. The opposite of Jeff. Like I'm not even like think my team has a chance. Like I think, I'll be pleasantly surprised. I don't even care if I lose this pick. But I gotta believe Brock Purdy. People are waiting for him to screw up. He's not. It's the system that they run in San Francisco. McCaffrey's going to run on these guys all day. I don't know what Geno Smith's going to do when Bosa like literally makes him eat grass the whole damn game. San Francisco's defense is elite. I think they win this game by 17. Pat, I'm sorry to say this. I liked Seattle earlier on in the week, but that was the fan in me. The rational Rob Pizzola number crunching kind of, let's put the computer on and figure it out. I don't think Seattle has a hope in hell. Give me the Niners.
I think if you bet the Niners here, the move is to parlay them with the over.
With the I don't know if Seattle's going to score, Pat.
Yeah,
that's kind of the problem.
They're going to score.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't think they are either.
I'm kind of with
pencil in Seattle for 14 points and go from there. So
how many do you think San Francisco scores? They score 20.
Well, if they cover, the quote unquote 10, that means they score 24. So 24
9.5
to 14, you got to find 4 extra points somewhere. You can do that.
Yeah, it's no trick line. 9.5. I'm looking at live right now. No
trick line.
No monkey business here. That's what it says on the screen.
Come off the 10. Yep.
Thank you.
Can confirm.
Thank you, Rob. I appreciate that. Everyone thinks I'm trying to sneak like at the grocery store. I'm trying to put something extra in the bag. No, it's 9.5. I'll take the Niners. Pat, and I begrudgingly take them, but I don't know what to do, man. Like I want to take the Chargers for our boy Geoff. I want to take the Cowboys. Like I'm finding it hard. I love the Bills, but not at 13. I got a better number. Like I don't know what to do. That's the game that popped out to me. Get Niners.
Silver picks, Rob. You can lead this one off because I'm in between.
I like that.
I'm in between 2 right now, and I have to figure out what order I want to put them in.
So, in terms of confidence, I hate to use one that's already been used, but I'm going to use the Bills as my silver pick. I still think this number is short. I still think it should be at least 14 or higher. We do have a long track record of quarterbacks in their first career playoff start, especially bad quarterbacks in their first career playoff start. You look up those numbers, they've been horrendous. I just don't see it for Miami. I don't know what the path to success is here for them with Skylar Thompson at quarterback. We have enough of a sample of seeing him now this year just to know that he is not. Listen, you can develop over time. He could turn into something, but what he is now ain't an NFL caliber quarterback. And Buffalo, sometimes they leave much to be desired on offense as well. It's not the same offense as it was last year overall, but I still think that they can win this game comfortably. I'm surprised that this number hasn't moved further, honestly. So I think there's still value here in -13.
For my silver selection, Cam, am going to take the Los Angeles Chargers. I like them in this game. I've liked them all week. I think they're just a vastly superior team. And when you go back and look at it, home dogs since 2015, home dogs in the NFL playoffs are 6-2 against the spread. Did you know that the AFC South teams in that stretch are 0-2? The rest of the NFL, 6-0 over that time. I mean, it's a very, very small sample, but it actually kind of lines up with what I like this week. I like the Chargers on the road. I like the Chargers talent-wise in this game. It seems like Mike Williams is fine. Bosa wasn't actually hurt to begin with. This comes down to Lawrence versus Herbert in a lot of ways, and I like Herbert more than I like Lawrence at this point. And when you start to look at what both these teams do defensively, the Chargers' defense over the past 6 weeks is vastly improved. They're still dog shit against the run. That's okay. Jacksonville doesn't like running the ball ever. In fact, outside of like a few peak ETN games where he breaks off a 60-yard run, they don't run the ball effectively at all. Their pass defense is really good on the Chargers side of the ball. So this feels like Chargers by 3 to me, and that's what I'm going to go with the line still at 2.5. I don't care where the money's coming in, Rob.
Yep.
Jeff does, but Jeff still wants to know. He actually disagrees. He asked me. He's like the blackjack player that asks you, what's going to happen? What should I do here? And they do the opposite. He's like, Rob, what are you hearing about this game? And then I tell him, and he's like, I disagree. I'm actually hearing something else. I'm like, what are you talking? What are you hearing? Something else?
I don't know what I don't know what it is about the Chargers, like this love, affection, like bond. Jeff's like he treats his team like you're in the mafia. Like, you know what I mean? It's like he'll do anything for these guys. He'll take a bullet for a football team. But I will say this, I don't know what the rest of his family, what does he do when he watches the game? Is the family welcome to talk to him? Does he enclose himself in a room with, I know he's a big Crown Royal and Dr. Pepper guy, just a couple bottles and, hits the vape pen and smokes his face off and hopes for the best. And I love this guy. He's a real good dude. I just saying, if I was in his family, I don't want to be anywhere near this guy if the Chargers lose.
Hey, I think go ahead, Pat.
I was gonna say he got out of his mother-in-law's birthday party because of the Chargers game on Saturday, so that's a win.
See, that doesn't work in my family. If I said, "Hey, I'm missing something important for a Seahawk game," my parents would say, "Grow up, you fuck! Are you serious? You're a grown man. You're coming to this family function." And there'll be a way I could sneak downstairs, figure it out. Come on.
They know.
I can't judge because I do the same thing as Jeff, and I blame it on my profession. Right? It's like I need to be watching the games. This is my livelihood. This is what I do for a living.
But it is. That's the thing. We're not some guys who do it. When I'm actually saying, "Hey, we're doing shows and we're watching the games." Yes, this is what we do. We do radio and television shows and we bet on sports. I am gonna watch the games. It's not an excuse of a guy who's like a firefighter or a cop saying, "Hey, I got to watch this game." Hey, you can do whatever you want, but I'm just saying, I respect Jeff. You know what? I'll give him full marks. Actually, a grown man that loves a football team that much, to me, I'll never understand. I love Seahawks, but I'm not even in the same league as Jeff Feinberg.
He denied this earlier in the year when I brought it up, but it is 100% true that Jeff Feinberg thinks he is a member of the Chargers organization.
He might as well be.
Back to that all the time.
His loyalty is better than the guys who work for the damn team. He'd work for free.
He thinks he is a member of the organization. The way he talks about them, we this, we that, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. In his head, he's just another staffer on the team. And his ritual on Sundays or whenever this game is Saturday night, he's going to do the same thing every week. And he thinks that whatever he does, drinking some Crown and Dr. Peppers, telling the kids, daddy's watching the game for 4 hours, he's going to root up. He thinks he has an effect on the outcome of the game. Him there doing his thing is going to impact the outcome of the game overall. I love Jeff, but I've never seen anything like it in my entire life.
Did you know, Rob and Cam and all of you out there, that you can now vote in the Custy Awards? The nominations are now live. You can get the link down in the description. There are some tough ones, Cam, this year.
Is this paralleled with Jeff's insane infatuation / sick love for the Chargers? Is this a category?
Well, no, Jeff has his own category where we pick all the people that Jeff picks fights with online throughout the course of the year, and we pick best fight.
I like it.
Biggest
That's
rival.
the one thing about Feinberg. He can get pretty I don't want to be in a Twitter battle with this guy. I've seen him come up to people and make a stupid comment about golf, and he slays them. You know what I mean? I'll give Feinberg credit. When somebody says hey, Cam, you're a stooge with blonde eyebrows. It's like, yeah, that's fair enough. That's fine. I just don't really have the time to, play the keyboard warrior fight. I'm just too beat down. I really don't care.
Who's the most famous person that cussed murdered this year?
He has.
Is it a horse or a human?
Well, he has 3. I mean, I don't know how you feel about Pele as a part of this, but him bigging up Brazil. Brazil can't lose. Brazil can't do this. Then Pele dies. But the 2 actual murders that he has on him this year, Angela Lansbury.
Oh, wow. Did he brought up something about Murder, She Wrote, and she died?
I used to love that show as a child, Pat. That's what I used to do with my mom. I'd watch football, and then I'm like, Mom, can we watch Murder, She Wrote? That's how I got hooked on murder mysteries and, the stabby stuff that we talk about every week. I was a child. I used to watch that show every single Sunday after football.
I just remember Pat Summerall always throwing to it in the middle of the game.
Murder, She Wrote.
Murder, She Wrote.
She wrote. Angela Lansbury was a great actress, by the way.
So in the most Andercursed non-sports category, there is Angela Lansbury with the write-up of Tim mentioned Murder, She Wrote as an example of a, quote, mystery solver during the Week 6 NFL spread pick show. Angela Lansbury, the lead actress in Murder, She Wrote, died during the recording of the show.
Oh my God. That's almost unbelievable.
Honest to God, I can't be in the, I love cuss, but I can't be around this guy. It's like the kiss of death. I don't want to. I got a lot of problems, man. This guy's around Pizzola. You say something, it's you could end up in the hospital or dead. It's real.
Cust is the guy you hire to hang out with your worst enemy.
He's basically
He doesn't even have to do it with violence, Patrick. Like a mob guy. There's no hit, no professional hit or anything. It's just cussed. Hey, want to go to McDonald's and collect some Monopoly stickers? And then next thing you know, the guy's starfished. He's dead. After a McFlurry, here's the evidence. Chalk line.
He's sort of like a Bizarro World version of William H. Macy in The Cooler.
Amazing.
Yes, really good comparable. Which, by the way, that's such a good movie.
I love that.
Excellent movie. Excellent movie.
Yes.
Pat has great taste in movies. Me and him still we like Twin Peaks. We like a lot of stuff off the rails. You wouldn't think that. You'd think I just watch Roundhouse with Patrick Swayze where guys are getting kicked in the nuts and in the head, but I like a lot of crazy stuff. That's just kind of the way I am. I sports it up during the week, but I enjoy a thriller. Pat, are you ready for the silver?
Well, I want to give you one more. I mean, I mentioned Angela Lansbury. There is another murder here. Tim listened to a variety of Meatloaf songs and called Meatloaf one of the most underrated artists of all time. He died the next day.
I no offense, Meatloaf's not one of the most underrated artists of all time.
Definitely, maybe rest in peace. But
Rob, I know you
not.
rip my bands and stuff, but give me a break. I love Tim too. Meatloaf, underrated Meatloaf, bad out of hell. Are you kidding me? Honest to God, I don't even know what to say. Jeff Beck is dead. He's one of the most best guitarists of all time. That's fact, Jack. Meatloaf. Does he even play an instrument and sing? Can he do anything? Like a bat out of hell, I become when the morning comes. Run on first base, second base, third base. Oh, take your girl to prom night. It's a musical. This guy's not the best art. Hey, you know what? I'll give Meatloaf credit. He has skills, Rob. He sang that album, whatever. Best artist of all time. I almost want to walk off set right now.
Well,
it's not even close.
He said most underrated, different. However, I would still say he's
Meatloaf is one of the most overrated artists of all time.
That's where I was going to go with this. I don't want to slander, a dead person or whatever.
Nor do I.
I would agree that he's more likely in the overraid category than the underrated. And everyone's entitled to their opinion.
I'm sorry, Rob.
I like bands that people hate. It's the way it goes.
Here we go.
Yeah. I'm sorry, not everyone loves Slipknot like you.
Right? Yeah. Hey, man, the Spotify downloads on some Slipknot songs, the listens would surprise you. They're very, very popular.
Extremely popular. Rob's into metal. I'm into indie rock. Some of the bands Rob thinks that I think are losers that I think are good, but I just Meatloaf is underrated to me. It's I don't care who you are. That's insane.
I mean, anyway. You don't even need a Spotify playlist. You just do what I do. Listen to one song, How Bizarre by OMC on repeat, and you're good to go.
I actually forgot that song existed. I haven't heard that song in 20 years, probably.
We had my wife walked out, surprised me on my wedding day. She walked out to the instrumental version of How Bizarre.
That's a marriage that can last when she knows you that well. Very, very strong.
Well, it's.
Cam, do you remember?
It's one of my
remember my wedding, Cam?
Was it Slipknot?
Oh, your wedding was wicked. Oh yeah, Rob's wedding was pretty cool too. He had the Metallica like, but it was all slow. And as I hit the buffet, I'm like, wow, man, this is pretty cool. Actually, I will say that, Rob, your wedding for like magic tricks and like different stuff was good. Kind of like a Meatloaf show. Didn't know what you were going to get. Everything but the motorcycle and the bats. It was a great, great wedding.
So never been insulted more in my life. Your wedding was like a Meatloaf show.
No, like Meatloaf will put on a show. I'm just saying he's the best artist of all, underrated art. No, your wedding was awesome. Like with the music, the guitar, the Metallica, slow. Like it was very different and very cool. And I'm dead serious. Like this is not. Like that's a straight up compliment.
So we got magic tricks. So we had the San Francisco Symphony Orchestra playing Metallica at Rob's wedding. Yep. Apparently Chris Angel was there as well.
So what Cam is So I did have an S&M version. I had the symphony version of Nothing Else Matters as my first dance with my wife.
It was awesome.
But we had like some Phantom of the Opera type of musical between meals, between plates at the wedding. So it was interesting. Let's put it that way.
I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a fantastic wedding.
Thank you.
Silver pick, Cam.
Oh God. Hey, Pizzola, I'm with you, and I love the Giants too. Like I'm looking at dogs who can win this week. I don't think there's very many.
Listen, we're gonna cross over. There's only 6 games.
Yeah,
you're right, Pat. I have a problem. It doesn't matter if you sit 6, 12, whatever. You know me. I can't. I just look at games and go, oh, I'm dizzy. I'm confused. Yeah, I like the Giants a lot too. Rob's right. I think the major coaching advantage with the Giants. I love Daniel Jones, and now since I went on my Daniel Jones rant, I got to back it up, and I'm going to back it up with 3 points in the Giants. I think he's going to run wild. I actually think that he's going to throw the ball more, and you could exploit that Minnesota secondary. That's one thing that I do know. I think it's going to be a very close game. If Minnesota does win, it'll be probably on a last-second field goal to win between 1 and 3. So I will take the dog in this spot. I love the New York Football Giants, and hopefully they're not a public dog, but I think they get it done this week. I like them outright.
I thought they were going to be a big public dog coming into the week, but I've seen a lot of love for Minnesota, Rob.
Good. That's the way I want it then, because I'm cheering for the Giants too. I really like Daniel Jones, and I'd like to see this team advance.
Guys, you know me by now. I don't care where the people are betting on the game. Doesn't matter to me. Doesn't influence my opinion on the game. I'd be betting regardless if I like one team or another. And I'm not a believer. If the Vikings win the Super Bowl, I will dress as a Viking for a month straight. I'll walk around, go grocery shopping. Like the Vikings ain't winning anything. They stink.
Giants I like this. I like that, Rob. You put it out there, and we're going to hold you to it.
Yeah, we might have to delete this tape when they're on February 12th.
Oh, it's not deleted. It's Pat's his
No,
memory,
if the Vikings win the Super Bowl, I'll do everything.
You don't have to do it for a month. You don't have to do it for a month, but you have to come out like in. Anyway, me and Pat will work it out, but you got to walk around as a Viking like I was as a piece of hash when I was working for the guy, and I was like the entertainment ambassador for weed and hash when I dressed up in Toronto and did. Anyway, people thought it was a piece of shit, but it was actually a piece of hash, but it's a quick $500. Anyway, you got to dress up as a Viking.
How have I never heard this before? Well, you stood on like a street corner.
I lost my job when the score got bent, whatever. I had mortgages to pay. So,
of course,
I went to work. I know a guy was in the business, and he knew that I did shows. I did extra shows at night. We did a variety show, me and Gabe or whatever. And one day he had an inflatable brown suit, and he's like, "You want to dress up as a piece of hash?" I'm like, "Yeah, you better give me money." He's like, "I'll give you $500." Sold. Out there around Toronto, I'm on benches, hanging out with kids, dancing. Anyway, I was hash man.
Instead of looking like a giant turd, couldn't they have made you just like look like a joint or something like that?
Well, that's the thing. Well, that's the thing. It's that costume was that. I've also done other things, but that was part of, kind of like Carrot Top. There's more than one costume in the trunk, but that was one of them.
Understood.
So when you were dressed up as a piece of hash and hanging out with kids, was it like that scene in like Black Sheep when Chris Farley is giving the don't drink speech, but everyone thinks that he's encouraging them to
hanging out with kids. Like their parents are there. I'm just saying, like, they just thought I was just like a brown inflatable guy. But, the stoners kind of knew what was going on. But it was wild. I just went to the CN Tower. Pat, basically, I did Streeters dress up as in an inflatable brown suit. But you know what? I'll tell you kids out there, you got to do what you got to do to survive when you have a mortgage. And when money's not coming in, you take jobs that you do. You grind. and that's what I do.
Yep.
Well, let's grind some bronze picks. I'm taking Tampa plus 2.5.
Yeah.
I like Tampa.
I like the Cowboys.
The Cowboys suck. Take Tampa, take the over. You'll be good to go.
Really?
Yeah.
My
What do you
bronze,
think, Rob?
my bronze is also Tampa. So
Good. We'll have a
plus
different
2.5.
bronze.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a Cowboys fan. It actually really pains me to do this, but like I've been down this path way too many times before. And the second half of the year, Cowboys,
Bad.
if you just isolate that from the first half of the year, they haven't been good. Defense is a real problem right now. Cornerback play is a real problem. The reason Tampa Bay is not higher in my list is because their coaching staff is one of the dumbest in the entire league. And you might just get a scenario where they just come out and do the same shit they've done all year. And Leonard Fournette's going to run for half a yard on every first down, and it's not going to work. But if Tampa wants to spread it out like they did week 1 against Dallas this year, and Brady's going to operate quickly, throw the ball out, they're going to win this game. So I like Tampa plus 2.5. I've been dreading this day as a Cowboys fan for a long time, having to lose to Tom Brady on the road. But I think this is the right side of the
See
game.
what kind of people we are, Rob? Like that's the difference. Like I'll give Jeff credit. Like he might think like the Chargers have no chance in the game and he'll like believe it and bet it. And me and you are like basically thinking our teams are done this week.
I mean,
just saying.
Well, you know what? You're right. Jeff is more of an optimist, and I would definitely be more of a pessimist. But I've lived this life for 20 years. I'm wearing a Leafs hat for crying out loud and a Leafs sweater
Honest to
today.
God, this team, Rob, the 1.5 overs hit every game until the Leafs game. It was 14 in a row. The Nashville scores like right early in the second. It is unbelievable, these guys. But anyway, I digress. Yeah, you're right. I like the Leafs too.
Dallas beat the Giants outdoors in week number 3. Mm-hmm. They beat the Titans outdoors in week 17 when the Titans rested all of their players. And that game was a lot closer than the final score. The other games they've played outside, lost to the Eagles, lost to the Packers, and lost to the Jags. This is not a good outdoor team.
It's not, but like you got upside in Tampa's now got all their cornerbacks back for the first time in a long time. Like this is the healthiest Tampa Bay's been in a long time. For me, it's not necessarily out. I watch every Cowboys game. Outdoors for sure. Like
they're slower.
It is, but it's a lot of these games, they turn Dak Prescott into a drop back passer. And when he does that, he's terrible. Like look at last week against Washington, meaningless game. Dallas still plays all their starters and gets smoked, by the way. But like he threw a pick 6. The play after, he almost threw a pick 6. As like he is not a drop back passer right now. And like you got to utilize him to his strengths. Run the ball, play action, get him out of the pocket. And they fall into these like situations where they just don't do that. And he's going to make mistakes, man. Guy throws an interception on pretty much a weekly basis at this point. At least one. Costs his team so much. And I just feel like our perception of the Dallas Cowboys is built so much off of the first half of the season. And it's not the same team anymore. Like there's a sizable gap, in my opinion, between the Eagles, 49ers, and then the Cowboys. And there's some people out there that consider all three of those in the same tier. I don't agree.
Micah Parsons got hurt on Thanksgiving, and their defense has been bad ever since.
Yeah, Anthony Brown, to me, one of their corners, him being out just was catastrophic. Like the one area Dallas cannot lose players is in the cornerback in the secondary. And Deron Bland gets hurt last week as well. I just feel like it's
actually I was on the commies last week. That was a nice smooth win with sweet Sammy Howell there.
Yeah,
nice
Sammy Howell looked okay. The other thing came.
Another backup quarterback. Hey, third
here we go.
No, here we don't go.
So do we want to go through? Do we want to go through the list of last?
No. I don't have time for the list this week. Okay. I don't have time for the list.
I have one more. I have one more point on Tampa Bay.
Yes.
Cust wrote them off as dead 5 weeks ago when I placed all my Tampa Bay futures, and they've looked a lot better since.
You know what? And I like Cuss, but we got to put him in a soundproof room. Like he can't, like his words can't get out there. Like
it's the opposite, Cam. We need him to make as many bold predictions as possible, and we just have to pay more attention to them and ride the opposites.
Well played, Pizzola.
He is like the gravy train. That guy.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I hope you didn't bet Tom Hoagie this week, Cam.
Actually, I didn't. I went with the Georgia Bulldog theme instead of the TCU Horned Frog theme.
Henley and
Pat,
Harmon?
by the way, I saw your Harmon pick, which I enjoy. He's my top pick as well. I think Harmon wins, and I really like Brendan Todd at 90-1 too. Another Georgia Bulldog.
The Todd father coming through for you. You got a bronze pick?
Is
it the Todd?
It's not Brendan Todd. I got 4 Georgia Bulldogs in my 6-pack this week, by the way. I remember after Georgia did something, all their golfers played well after too. But anyway, that's a story for another day. This one's for you, Feinberg. Light me up one. Hang down in your basement. You're right there. There we go. Tell the kids to go to bed. Dr. Peppers and Crown Royals. Let's get stupid. Actually, I found a wine with no sugar in it, so I'm back on the wine train, and it is amazing. Oh, Rob, I found an $8.60 Malbec. It's called Mysterio. Ooh, Mysterio. But anyway, it is awesome. I got a case of it at the LCBO, and it doesn't really rock my blood sugar like beer does. Give me the Chargers. I think everyone's in love with Steffi Graf, a.k.a. Trevor Lawrence, in this team. It's Charger time. I believe that the Chargers just go in there, win this game by a touchdown. I know Jacksonville, people could tease them. I don't think it's going to be a blowout, but I think the Chargers will probably win by 7 points in this game. And it's a very low number. I think Eckler's going to go wild. I think the Chargers, if they don't screw this thing up with dumb play calling, I think they're going to beat Jacksonville down. I think the Chargers are actually a sneaky bet in the AFC. They're a team that can beat the Chiefs if healthy and other things. So if you're looking for value futures, the only one on the board, because I don't think in the NFC I was thinking about Dallas, but I think the Chargers offer the best value. Pat and Rob, give me the lightning bolts. That's for you, Jeff. High voltage. Let's go.
I'm with you. I think of all the lower seeds in both conferences, the Chargers are probably...
They're dangerous.
They have the best path to actually getting to the Super Bowl, just based on the talent they have on their team. I weirdly did out a scenario where the Giants get to the Super Bowl as well. Because things can break their way really easily if they beat Minnesota. Because then if Tampa beats Dallas, you have Tampa going into San Francisco, which I think is a weird matchup for San Francisco, that Tampa could beat them in San Francisco. No. I think the Giants...
Tom Brady will come back dead in that game, Pat. His mobility against that defense? No way.
I mean, Rob talked about all the corners coming back for Tampa Bay. The offensive line for Tampa Bay getting a lot healthier now at the same time, too. It's just, I'm saying I think that the Bucs have a better chance of beating the Niners than Dallas does at this point. Maybe I'm dead wrong on that. But it puts the Giants against the Eagles. I think the Giants can beat the Eagles.
If Tampa Bay goes to the Super Bowl against the Chiefs, I'm gonna friggin' jump out a window.
No, you're gonna dress. You're gonna dress like a Buccaneer for a month.
I mean, he kind of
dress like a Buccaneer for a month. I'll do that. Let's go to a party. Sure, I'll wear a sword. Yar yar. Want some grog?
Cam is a bit swashbuckly anyway, so I mean, he can get away with that.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm a total pirate. I do a lot of pirate things. I don't like rape and pillage, but I do like value, and wouldn't mind getting things for cheaper. In pirate fashion.
I was thinking more of you with a map and on a scavenger hunt, but that's me.
Oh, yes. I love scavenger hunts, too. I remember they used to have scavenger hunts in the Mississauga News, Pat, where they hid money in the city, and I'm looking at the clues and digging up stuff at the hockey arena. Oh, those were the days. You don't do that stuff anymore. There's no scavenger hunts where you're looking for cash in a box.
Well, people don't go outside anymore.
Well, social media would also ruin that, by the way. We'd be like, I found it.
You're right. You're right. You're so right. And I honest to God, Pat, I haven't seen a kid play street hockey or basketball in years.
Really? They
used to do every day.
That's because they all grew up in your neighborhood. They're not going to play forever. I'm
talking about modern day children. What are they doing? They play video games.
You live in the same neighborhood.
Yeah. So I noticed it too, because where I'm at, where I moved to has a lot of young families with young kids.
Good.
Street hockey, football, soccer, basketball, whatever it is that's always going on. I go visit my grandparents, where I grew up, and it's all exactly the same people who are all now 80 who still live there. They don't have kids anymore.
It's a good point. I guess my age demographic is not but there's a lot of young kids in my complex. I don't see them. I see they're playing video. Anyway, I'd like to see a game of 3-on-3 basketball or street hockey to inspire me. Outside.
You should organize a complex scavenger hunt. You should organize it yourself. Get the kids involved.
Yeah,
Get them to find some candies and stuff.
I don't think Barb, being the condo manager, would like me stepping up and getting in her. Oh no, sorry, Barb. I overstepped my boundary. I can't even get parking from these people. I got a parking ticket in my own building, Pat, because I put one letter wrong in my friggin' you go on this website. Yeah. Like it's calm or whatever the hell. I don't know what that. Anyway, I put 7-something 0 instead. I got one number off. and I got a $45 ticket last week in my complex because my girlfriend was there because I was having problems with my garage door opener. And you don't know me by now? Like, and I wrote her a letter anyway.
Hold on. Is it a city issued parking ticket or is it a condo issued parking ticket?
The thing is, Barb's friends have this little roundabout where I see the Jaguar. I know who these guys are, and they never get ticketed. I did it one night. I got a ticket. And then I come out and let's just say this. These condo things are real. They're like mobs. I wouldn't be surprised. I'm not saying people get hit or whacked, but there's so much shady things going on with underground deals, contractors and stuff where money's come on, guys. We're not stupid here. And all these other people never get tickets. And I live in my own building and I get one. I'm just saying, I wish I had time, Pat. I would actually run for condo board and win because my neighbors like me, even though I do shows at 2:00 in the morning. I think I would crush these guys and I'd make things on the up and up. And I got to be honest with you. I might be, in the meat department at the store, but I would never siphon money that would go into the condo development. I don't steal.
It sounds like you've uncovered some sort of mass conspiracy that's going on there in your condo.
It's not a mass conspiracy. Certain people get there's favorites. There's people that they play by their own rules.
But to Pat's point, that ticket that you got, it was
a city issued ticket. Yeah.
Oh, then you're fucked. You got to pay the ticket.
Yeah. No, it's already.
If it was a condo issued ticket, you put that ticket in a bag with some dog shit and you light it on fire on Barb's doorstep.
To Barb.
Yes, exactly. You just ring the doorbell and light it on fire and you walk away.
All right,
Pat, I know I sound crazy with these condo boards and stuff. Do you guys not agree, though? There's shady things going on, Pat.
No, I agree that you sound crazy.
Okay.
Well, that will do it on the Pat Mayo Experience Super Wildcard Weekend Best Bets. Join us next week for more Best Bets. Check out Cam Stewart on SportsGrid.com. Rob Pizzola on the Hammer.bet. Reminder, hit the description and subscribe to the Forward Progress NFL channel on the Hammer HQ on YouTube. In fact, subscribe to all of the YouTube channels under the Hammer HQ banner for all your sports betting needs. Play in the Listeners League and vote in the Custies, of course. Smash a like on the way out, too, if you're feeling in a good mood. I'm Pat Mayo. I'll see you next time.
Pat Mayo Experience! Experience!